It's Christmas morning. Families are opening gifts. Jesus is trending again. And the United States? The United States is bombing Nigeria because nothing says peace on earth like an airstrike in West Africa. Let's get grounded before opinions take over. There's a country in West Africa called Nigeria. Its capital is Abuja. On December 25th, U.S. forces carried out an airstrike in northwestern Nigeria aimed at fighters linked to the Islamic State. This wasn't a rumor or a leak. The announcement came directly from Donald Trump, who said the operation was ordered by him and executed under U.S. command. That alone is unusual. Presidents usually let officials explain these things. Trump prefers the megaphone. Here's why analysts raise their eyebrows. Nigeria is not an enemy state, not under U.S. occupation, not formally at war with the United States. Yet a foreign power carried out a direct military action inside its borders. That's rare. When it happens, it usually means one of two things. The host country quietly agreed, or the attacker decided speed mattered more than permission. And Nigeria hasn't clearly said which one this was. Trump justified the strike by saying that militants connected to the Islamic State were killing civilians, specifically targeting Christian communities. He described the violence as extreme and long-running. According to him, the U.S. acted to protect civilians, stop further attacks, prevent ISIS from gaining momentum. It was presented as moral urgency, the kind that doesn't wait for committees. The strike focused on cells associated with Islamic State West Africa province, commonly known as ISWAP. ISWAP is an offshoot of Boko Haram, which fractured years ago over leadership and strategy. Since then, ISWAP has operated in parts of Nigeria where state presence is limited, security forces are stretched, local grievances are easy to exploit. This isn't new, but the U.S. choosing to strike there directly is. Nigeria's president, Bola Tinubu, pushed back on Trump's narrative. Nigeria acknowledged severe security challenges, terrorist violence, widespread civilian suffering, but rejected the idea that the crisis is a one-sided religious extermination. According to Nigerian authorities, Christians and Muslims have both been targeted. Violence is driven by multiple factors, not a single religious campaign. Their concern wasn't denial, it was accuracy and sovereignty. What life actually looks like on the ground. Nigeria's instability doesn't come from one source. It's layered: insurgency in the northeast, criminal gangs in the northwest, land and grazing conflicts in central regions, economic stress, and climate pressure. Communities are caught between militants, criminal groups, and a state that can't be everywhere at once. Why the U.S. chose force instead of patience? From Washington's perspective, the calculation is simple. ISIS-linked groups are spreading. Waiting allows them to entrench. Air power is faster than diplomacy. This is counterterrorism as prevention. Hit early, hit hard. Explain later. But this approach comes with consequences, especially when used on partners, not enemies. This is where critics raise an uncomfortable point. The United States speaks forcefully about extremist violence when it suits strategic messaging. Yet the same country has maintained security partnerships with Pakistan despite repeated allegations of extremist safe havens, continued funding and cooperation during operations that raised regional concerns. At the same time, critics argue there is far less urgency when Hindu minorities face mob violence. Religious lynchings occur outside U.S. strategic focus. This doesn't negate terrorism in Nigeria, it questions consistency. And consistency is the currency of credibility. For Nigeria, the strike highlights gaps in domestic security capacity, dependence on external intelligence, the risk of becoming a battlefield for global agendas. For the U.S., it sends a message. Influence remains global. Patience is limited. Optics matter less than action. This story isn't about Christmas. It's not about Trump's personality, and it's not about social media applause. It's about how power is exercised in a world where threats don't wear uniforms and borders don't stop ideology. Nigeria didn't ask to become a headline, but it became one anyway. If you want analysis without shouting, subscribe. If you want context without tribalism, share. And remember, when bombs fall quietly, the explanations usually arrive much later. We'll be here when they do.